Alright, picture this. You've just spent countless hours crafting jaw-dropping visuals that have audiences on the edge of their seats, only to find out that your studio is shutting down mere months after your work hits theaters. Yep, you heard that right. The visual effects industry, which once stood as a pillar of creativity and innovation, is now caught in a freefall. But this isn't just about a few projects gone wrong, it's an entire industry on the brink. Let's jump into the whirlwind that's dragging the VFX world down and leaving talent in the dust, a topic that's way more important than you might think. Whether you're a movie buff who lives for epic CGI or just someone who loves a good story, this video's for you. Behind those stunning digital worlds and mind-blowing effects lies a darker tale of burnout, exploitation, and an industry that's seriously struggling to keep it together. The rise of VFX, from innovation to standard. Alright, let's rewind a bit. Visual effects, or VFX for short, started as this really niche, cutting-edge technology that only a handful of big studios could mess with. Remember Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, or The Matrix? Those films were game changers, pushing the boundaries of what was possible on screen. But as tech evolved, VFX went from being a luxury to a must-have for every blockbuster. Think epic battles in the Marvel universe or the breathtaking worlds in Avatar. But here's where it gets tricky. Studios started expecting more bang for their buck. VFX wasn't seen as an artistic process anymore. It became just another line on the budget to cut down. And that's when things started to go south. The unsustainable grind. Fast forward to today, and it's a whole different story. The demand for crazier, more complex visual effects is through the roof, but the conditions under which these effects are created, not so great. VFX artists are pulling insane hours, like 12 to 14-hour days, 7 days a week, just to hit these near-impossible deadlines. If crunch time rings a bell, that's because it's become a way of life for VFX artists, much like in the gaming industry. But what does this mean for the people actually making the magic happen? Burnout. Massive burnout. We're talking talented artists leaving the industry in droves, because who can keep that pace up? It's tough to stay creative when you're running on empty. Imagine working on something for months, only for the director to throw in last-minute changes that require redoing entire scenes. And here's the kicker. Those changes, often unpaid, because VFX houses are on the hook to deliver the final product no matter how many revisions it takes. Case study: the fall of Rhythm and Hues. Let's talk about one of the most heartbreaking examples of this mess. Rhythm and Hues. This VFX studio was behind some of the most iconic digital creatures in film history. Remember the Oscar-winning tiger from Life of Pi? Yep, that was them. But here's the gut punch. They filed for bankruptcy just 11 days before winning that Academy Award for Best Visual Effects in 2013. How does a studio go from the top of the world to financial ruin so fast? It all boils down to the messed-up business model in the VFX industry. Studios bid on projects with razor-thin margins, hoping to stay on time and within budget. But when directors or film studios throw in last-minute changes, guess who eats the cost? Yep, the VFX houses. And for Rhythm and Hues, those endless revisions during Life of Pi were the final straw. The Marvel effect. Now let's talk about the big dog in the room, Marvel. Sure, they're churning out blockbuster after blockbuster, but they're also a huge player in this VFX crisis. Marvel movies are infamous for their insane post-production schedules, with dozens of VFX houses working on different parts of the same film at the same time. It's like a giant game of Tetris, except when things don't fit, they don't just disappear, they create chaos. There's this one story that's become legendary in the VFX community. Marvel reportedly moved up the release dates for Infinity War and Endgame by a whole month without properly informing all their VFX vendors. Artists found out through a press release. Can you imagine the panic? They were left scrambling to meet these new deadlines. It's no wonder things get chaotic. The disconnect, directors versus artists. Another major issue, the growing disconnect between directors and VFX artists. With the industry expanding so rapidly, you've got directors with zero VFX experience helming projects that rely almost entirely on CGI. This leads to unrealistic expectations and a whole lot of frustration on both sides. Take the 2019 disaster that was Cats. Directed by Tom Hooper, a filmmaker with no prior VFX experience, the production was a nightmare. Hooper reportedly demanded fully rendered shots at every stage of production, which, if you know anything about VFX, is a massive no-no. It's time-consuming, costly, and just not how the process works. The result? a film that's now infamous for its bizarre visuals and the miserable conditions under which it was made. But Cats isn't alone. Similar stories have cropped up on other big-name films, where directors overrule their VFX teams, leading to endless revisions, wasted time, and skyrocketing costs. It's a vicious cycle that only makes the already tough working conditions for VFX artists even worse. The consequences: an industry on the brink. So, where does all this leave us? The VFX industry is teetering on the edge. On one hand, the demand for top-notch CGI is higher than ever. On the other, the unsustainable working conditions and flawed business models are driving talented artists away and pushing some of the most iconic VFX houses to the brink of collapse. We're already seeing the fallout. With more and more artists burning out and leaving, the quality of visual effects is starting to take a hit. Think about the increasing number of films getting slammed for bad CGI, whether it's rushed work due to impossible deadlines or corners being cut to save costs. And if studios keep demanding more for less, the future of the VFX industry itself is in serious jeopardy. What can be done? So, what's the solution here? It's clear that the current model isn't working, and if the VFX industry is going to survive, something's got to change. First off, there needs to be way more respect and understanding of the VFX process from studios and directors. We're talking realistic deadlines, fair pay, and better working conditions for artists. Basic stuff, right? Secondly, the industry itself needs a serious overhaul. Whether that's through unionization or new business models that don't rely on underbidding and overworking, VFX houses need the power to stand up to unrealistic demands without the constant fear of going under. In the end, the downfall of visual effects is a cautionary tale for the entire film industry. If we want to keep enjoying the mind-blowing visuals that make modern cinema what it is, we've got to support the artists who create them. The future of filmmaking depends on it. Thanks for sticking around. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of filmmaking. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think needs to change in the VFX industry? Drop a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.